2020. 30 years ago when they won, I was a young teacher at St. T's High. So I know what it feels like to support a team that has been out in the wilderness for a long time. Anyway, I'll never walk alone. Liverpool, Anfield, all of that. I know we got covered by Manchester City today, but that's alright. You're already on vacation. See you in September. Anyway, tonight's show is with a very special, bright, bubblicious, bouncy, everything. She's named Beckford, and I think we're related, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. When she walks into her room, she lights up her room. You can hear her chuckling in the background. I'm going to show you behind the scenes pictures for the first time later this week. Alright? Daniel Beckford, brand communicator, everything, broad tail design. Let's welcome Daniel Beckford.
Ooh, no chairs.
No chairs?
Hi, Carole.
Hi, no, I'm a studio audience. Sanitize up your hand, rub up your hand. Yeah.
COVID clean.
Yeah. We're close. And of course, we want to thank our sponsors from Strictly Roots Water. My roots, my water. Alright, Daniel, welcome to Straightforward.
I've been waiting all week. I'm ready to get straightforward.
Oh dear. Alright, so we're going to get straight to it.
Okay.
Carnival was put off this year. You are an exceptional designer. You have been designing stuff, broad tail designs. How do you feel about that?
Well, I actually did not have a costume in Carnival for the first 3 years at the band launch for Jamaica, but we were planning to do some custom pieces because last year I had a baby, and the time that it takes to design and produce and get it on stage, I wanted to spend some more time with my son Zano, so I just didn't do that. But we are ready to make some custom pieces, and we had orders in. Most of our clients are from the Caribbean region and from North America, and everything was set, fabric, reaching, everything, gems, and then COVID happened. And it was such a damper for me because I'm like, okay, so I'm ready now to get back in the game. Carnival is not happening. It's one of the ways that we empower women to be confident on the road through Carnival. What are we going to do now, But it's still set for October, so let's see.
Let's see. All right, so you're young entrepreneur. I know you have your full-time job, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but what are some of the challenges you face as an entrepreneur in a business that is obviously affected by just about anything?
Well, first of all, we just don't have enough people that are investing. And it's not because people aren't interested in the brand. It's just that sometimes for someone who has the resources, they go through their own process of trying to invest in a business. And I don't think that for every investor, the creative industries is one of the industries they go to first, So see it as a little bit too informal. So at the beginning of it all, getting capital for the business is always a challenge. For some persons, even the process you go through to empower somebody to put on something like a swimsuit, because swimsuit, you're almost naked, let's talk about it. You're almost naked.
Yeah, but it's called swimsuit. They can't swim in a clothes.
Yeah, right. So for some persons to get it going to say, okay, this is a brand for full-figured women to feel sexy. At the beginning of it, it wasn't a great take-up. Yeah, they like the idea. But in actually buying the product now, that's when I started to say, okay, so it needed a little bit more than just creating this product. You had to get into the mind of the actual person you're trying to target. And that was a challenge in the beginning.
No, you use 2 words or whatever, full-figured and sexy. Tell me about that. How do full-figured people look sexy?
Well, I find that full-figured people are sexy like everybody else, but it's a mindset because, Carole, let's talk about it. I mean, growing up, I was never really exposed to the fact that because I'm fat, because I've always been fat, that I'm supposed to feel sexy. But me did always feel good in myself. Me never feel less than anybody else. I don't know if it's because the people that were in my direct household were full-figured as well. And when we got high school, I went to St. Hilda's, by the way, somebody told me some facts. I never realized it was nothing for me. I just felt normal and pretty like everybody else. But that was not the story that other women around me or young girls around me were going through. And so when persons look at me and they're always saying, oh, why are you so, how come you're so confident or whatever, I don't really have an answer to say, oh, it's because of this, that, or that. I was always just very comfortable with myself. And so I'm trying to, through exuding it and through my designs and just talking to women, trying to empower them to feel sexy in their skin.
What made you come up with broad tail design?
Well, so I'm from Discovery.
She's from the parish of St. Anne, that garden parish. That's some of the people in this room come from. Yes. I went to school there, but not really long there.
So I'm from Discovery Bay, and we live very close to Puerto Rico Beach, and we were always going to the beach every Saturday. And on getting to puberty and all of that, you don't want to stop wearing the baby swimsuits with frills and all of that. But
yeah, they're back by the way.
Yeah, man, they're hot, you know.
Yeah.
I'm even designing some frills. So I didn't want to wear those anymore. And when I got to teenage years, and my mother would take me swimsuit shopping, they never looked like said am I speed. They never sexy. Them did frumpy and then they always black. So on getting out of university, I started to wear mommy swimsuit from the 70s because she got some hot Altamont ones.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, them when are the hot things then? And then I realized that there was just I couldn't find anything for myself. So do a little sketch thing, have a little dressmaker thing, make them, put them on Facebook, and people started to comment, where did you get this swimsuit? And I'm like, what do you mean where? I designed it and I had somebody make it. Oh, would you make one for me? I was like, oh, would you pay for it? And that's how the business started.
Wow. No, that's some exciting stuff. And I mean, you know, we talk about these things with women and now into the Black Lives Matter thing and so on. Do you think we're more conscious now than probably when you were in university or high school?
Way more conscious. I feel like there was this ideal body that persons expected everybody to have, or you're supposed to fit into this mold, even with the whole processed hair, natural hair story. I mean, when I was going to high school, you didn't want your hair for process. Everybody didn't want the cream hair for the school. You wanted it straight. But by the time I got to doing my A-levels, I was more into the braids and the natural look. And then my father never wanted me to do it at all because he just say once me retry this, so I got on Rasta and I did. So I feel like throughout the years, the progression of going closer to our ancestry and feeling our black roots, it's more pervasive now, and I'm very happy to see it.
Were those discussions you had at home?
Not blatant or direct discussions, but I heard that my grandmother was a Rasta because when
on daddy or mommy's side?
On mommy's side. Okay. When I was always, I love Rasta culture and like reggae music, and we could have dance and then they wonder what she
could have dance. You can't
yeah, we could dance.
Okay, and she dropped some legs tonight.
They have to pay for it.
Okay.
No.
It's after 8 o'clock. So we have a pole somewhere around the place.
Camera pose? No. So I liked those things, and my parents were always wondering, well, you see them dancing. Oh, you can do this, you know? And I was just like, why are we so straight and narrow? And then I grew up as Jehovah's Witness, you know, so yeah, man, I did out in a field service, I talk to people and knock on the door. Can I share scripture with you? So my parents just could not understand what is this love for reggae and Rasta, and I just needed to get out of the house to get to somewhere like you, where I could get all the knowledge that I needed to make some decisions.
Okay, Jehovah's Witness. Tell us about that experience.
Well, I grew up as Jehovah's Witness. It's the only place I've ever worshipped until I went to UE and saw other things. Well, my family on my father's side was Seventh-day Adventist, and I'd spend summer there. But my father would tell me not to go to the Seventh-day Adventist church. We could not tell my grandparents that somebody actually sit down there. But I've never really worshipped anywhere else except at a Kingdom Hall. I was out in field service from I was 6-7 years old. I was doing Bible readings in Kingdom Hall. I credit my boldness to talk to strangers from the experience of being in Kingdom Hall.
That's a story.
Yeah.
So you knock on people's gates?
Yeah, man, I knock on people's gates. Hi, my name is Carole Beckford. Could I share a scripture with you? Yeah, man, I do.
And people not hide?
No, man, they're running. People are sure what's up on me.
Okay. You want to tell
I've experienced it all.
What parish?
In St. Anne.
In St. Anne?
In St. Anne.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Alright, so broad tail design, you have fabulous. By the way, she because you know she's now a mother, so she kind of pack up her things and the young
I
girl
don't
has,
have anything to show you.
But
I
you
was a little
can-
stressed before I got here.
yeah.
It was
I know.
hard to get out of the house. Young mothers, you know about it, right?
Yeah.
They're pulling out from the clothes and saying, yeah, that's how we're reaching a life with the 1 year
And
old.
see tear apart on.
I don't even but it.
Me not get this yet. Although me have one, me not get this yet. Tell me about these type of jeans.
Well, actually, I didn't buy these jeans like this. I bought it as regular jeans and I really just use a razor and rip it up. And it's now distressed jeans.
Oh, it's distressed.
Yeah.
So you're a designer anyway. By the way, did you do art in school?
No.
What did you study in high school?
In high school, I did the arts. So I did literature and history, social studies, food and nutrition.
You can cook?
Yeah, man, of course I can cook. My country girl, I must can cook.
All country girls can cook. You heard it on straight.
But I didn't actually do art. As a matter of fact, I hated clothing and textile. My best friend Timmy, yes, at TQ, IG, she can tell you, I hated clothing and textile. I always liked fashion. I always liked the sketching part, but I never liked the sewing part.
Let's talk about that a little, because certainly when I went to high school, you were encouraged, or you were mandated to do the sciences, or the other subjects, geography, history, Spanish.
I did Spanish too.
You did Spanish? Okay, nice.
No, but I tried to talk to me in a Spanish too.
Really?
No.
You dropped it?
Yeah.
Okay. What was it like at St. Hilda's during those years?
Well, at St. Hilda's, the bright girls were said to do the sciences. The outspoken girls were said to do the arts. The reserved girls did business. The girls who weren't doing so well in school did art and clothing and textile and food and nutrition. Yes, it was like a stream system. And over time I realized that based on how St. Hilda's set up their compulsory subjects, I feel like they were channeling us into like law, because we did a lot of reading things. So our compulsory subjects, we had math, English, literature. You had to choose between history and social studies. Now they have computer science and Spanish as compulsory, so you really only get to choose two more.
Right?
So you're really filtering into something that you read a lot, you know? Because if you choose the two more to get to 8, if you're a science student, you choose like 2 sciences or 3, and you get to 9. You know what I'm saying? So I find that, I'm hoping that they'll change over time. I think that skills are so important. If I knew what I know now, we would have definitely do the flow like clothing and textile, because especially for the last 2 years in a carnival, when you see the amount of money that I pay out to actually produce the suits, I say, oh, I make women and the business of it.
So you are the designer. You do the sketches, and you have somebody who
Makes sense.
Uh-huh.
And a couple of people.
Okay, alright. When you talk to financiers, what do you say to them? You know, I don't want you to pitch, don't necessarily, but what kind of package information? How do you reach out to them?
Well, in reaching out to financiers, no, a lot of persons are interested in the creative arts. We started the business 4 years ago, and I actually had an angel investor who decided that I was talking too much about the suit team, and in order to shut me up, I'm going to just give me this set of money to start what I do. That's how I actually bought my first set of fabric.
Oh dear.
Yes, and I'm eternally happy for that person. No, people want you to run the numbers. They just want to know how they're going to make that investment, basically. Most persons, though, are interested in the part of the brand that I'm about to expand to get into more event experiences. And by event experiences, I don't necessarily mean parties, because we already make swimsuits for parties. We're in carnival. But I find that in order for the brand to grow some more and for me to actually get to my goal of empowering women, I want to get more into seminars and conferences, and definitely look out for Brocktail Fashion Week. So we're going to be doing a lot more of
You heard it here first on Straight Forward. You know, we're a quarter way through the show, and you know we have to big up the sponsors.
Yeah.
Strictly Roots Water, My Roots, My Water. And if you just joined us, we're talking to Carole Beckford. She's a brand communicator She's also a voiceover queen. We'll get to that. We had one a couple weeks ago, Sharon Farrell, who I'm sure you know.
Of course.
Yeah,
some training from her too.
We have some very talented people here, and Dana also teaches. What do you teach?
So it's at the Manley College for Visual and Performing Arts, Arts Management. So I taught subjects like business and professional communication in the arts, events planning and coordination for the arts, and Caribbean culture.
Really?
Yeah.
What? We will get to her age eventually, but the numbers don't add up. Because, you know, she's a designer, she teach and all of the Caribbean culture. What is in that curriculum? Hello to Black Ellis, so I'm sure it's watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
Teenage, of course. In Caribbean culture is really exploring a lot of how we become a Caribbean person, like what defines you as a Caribbean person. So we go through, of course, we started from invasion of the Caribbean, slavery, we move up to the revolution.
Listen, for Columbus.
Go about it. Very shortly, the syllabus. We get to the revolutions, we get to post-colonial times, and we end up with the student trying to figure out how is it that they define themselves as a Caribbean person after knowing all of this. So it's not one of those subjects where you tell them something. It's they need to come up with their own definition of what makes them a Caribbean person. And that's why I particularly like that syllabus. For me and my students at EGNA, I found that to be the most rewarding subject, because where you start is so different from where you end, and to see them change, you know? So, yeah, that's what that syllabus does.
Nice. Some of the other courses are the business development. What did you study at UWI, by the way?
I studied media and communication, specializing in public relations with a minor in cultural studies. And then when I went back for my master's, it was integrated marketing communication.
Oh. Are you going to do another degree?
My brain feels tired. I'm not sure. Maybe as a retirement plan? I don't know. So
That thing says she about 100, right? She barely touched one generation. I'm sure the older folks online who are watching know what a generation is. Alright, so let's switch a little bit. We're going to talk about UWI. UWI days.
Yeah.
What was some of the highlight of your experiences?
Well, first of all, I couldn't wait for that. Remember me telling me that you figure it out?
Yeah, she come from country?
Yeah, we couldn't wait to touch UWI. And when I got there, it was everything that I expected it to be. Except from the part where they tell us when you go to university, I go meet your husband and then something, I never meet mine there, we still don't have none. But, you look at me so far, I'm not married. I am not. Okay, so at UWI, I lived on Mark Centerford Hall, and I feel like when you go to the University of the West Indies, if you don't live on Hall, you haven't really experienced it. Because that is where I learned about living with it. It was 800 people on Mark Centerford Hall, and about 15,000 on the whole campus every day at that time. And just being with these people that you've never met before and having to learn how to deal with them, and the days when you don't have no food and people share with you, and the days when you have food you share with them, it's an experience that I will never forget. I have forgotten a lot of things that I learned in class, but I have never forgotten the lessons that I learned on Hall. On Hall I was my cluster rep in second year, and then in third year I was CEAC at the Hall, and then in my final year I was Hall chair. Yes, and that gave me the opportunity to actually mentor persons who were in first year, to be on the guild and make decisions, and most of the friendships and the links and the network that I have now is because I went to it.
Right.
So it is one of my most memorable experiences.
And the master, you lived on campus for the master's?
No, I actually didn't.
Oh.
I didn't need to. I don't do that already.
Okay. Wow. Would you have preferred to probably have gone to St. Augustine or Caveville?
Having visited St. Augustine and Caveville, I must say I prefer my campus.
Yeah.
Mona.
Alright, so outside of the fact that, yeah, you prefer Mona, what are some of the differences between the campuses?
Well, for one, I love the fact that UA is so big. It's a huge campus. It is a beautiful campus. I love that. And also because I feel like most of the students who are on the other two campuses are from those countries. So most of the people them come from Barbados, them come from Trinidad.
But a good portion of the ones.
Yes, and a good portion of the ones who are at Mona are Jamaicans too. But because the campus is so much bigger, I feel the integration is better. So we have more persons from different islands on the campus, and it makes it a far greater experience for me.
Okay, that's interesting because I've criticized the university because I think they've built silos in their respective campuses, and certainly I applied to Carole, by the way, and I got through after I finished my master's and published my name. Yeah, that's another story. Yeah.
Maybe I should interview you on
Yeah, we can do that. No, but seriously, so the integration that we once saw, so if you studied engineering, you have gone down to Trinidad, you studied medicine, you come here, and law, Barbados. So everybody now has that in each of their campuses.
Right.
How do you think that has affected?
I think that for some persons financially it worked out, because I remember when one of my cousins got through to go to do engineering, we had to send him to Trinidad, and it was like the whole family, they just have to pitch in because it was so expensive to us, you know. And so now when you have all the subjects on all the campuses, financially it's better for some persons to be able to access that. And also I feel like if I don't have to feel like I have to go somewhere else. If I want to, I'm able to. But it's not like you have to.
That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Because at the time when we thought that you needed to have learned about what's happening in the Caribbean to kind of move around. And so yes, I kind of like that. I think because intra-regional travel
It's very expensive.
I know.
It's more expensive than going to North America or one of those places. It shouldn't be.
By the way, nobody is running to North America.
This is true, but I'm saying if I want to go to Trinidad, which you know I love Carnival, so I got Trinidad, I used to work down there. Me happy I think about the flight is so expensive. We should do something about that. Love it, Carnival.
No, well, Leah, PM Gaston Brown from Antigua and Barbuda.
Is he gonna be on straight phone?
Oh, let me tell you, that would be a show and a half. I know Leah is in some reorganization now. I don't have all the facts, but I'm sure. And Prime Minister Mia Mockley is
She's one of my favorites.
yeah. Who is it? Well, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think Prime Minister Mockley is leading the Caribbean in a way that we have long before.
Yeah. I think that her leadership style is so actually straightforward. It's actually so straightforward. It is something that it is something that we haven't seen in a while. You know, I'm not a Bayesian, but every time that I see her talking on whatever platform I want to listen, she makes me feel like I'm a part of the Caribbean and not just one country. She's never spoken about Barbados alone when she makes an address. It's always the Caribbean, and I like that.
Okay. Alright, so we're just about coming up to half an hour into the show. Can you imagine?
Ready?
I'm going to talk about certain things. So we talked about high school, she went to St. Hilda, she go UA, she teach and so on. We're going to get into some political stuff. You are an advocate, you like, because of the role, the things you do, you're into community development. What are some of the things that really gripe you about a community?
Alright, so I'm going to start with my community. And I feel like I may ruffle a few feathers, but you hear me say I used to live, well, we still live close to Port Beach. And that's a beach that I've been going to since I know myself. I have so many memories there.
You used to go there too?
Yeah, and to see that our company has come in and quote unquote developed it, I have no problem with development at all. But is $1,200 and $1,500 to get in. The people who live in my community cannot pay $1,200 and $1,500 to enjoy your development. I have issues with that. And then when it is that the quote-unquote small men or the vendors that used to benefit from having persons come to the beach, complain and have their small protests on TV, the statements that are made is almost as if we are backward because we're not for development. No, it's not about not being for development, but development has to include the citizens of the place that development is taking place. So one, there was no real consultation to say that this is what we're going to do. About 2 years, the place is just shut down. And then you come with all of your nice fancy things that of course some people are enjoying. And I even went there just to see what happens over there. It feels like a resort. I don't want a resort. That's not my experience that I want for my community. So I kind of just go over the free side. I'm going to buy my beer, I'm going to fish from the vendor that I know for my entire life because that is their livelihood and I still have fun.
But the flip side to that is that the place wasn't environmentally, it wasn't being kept clean. What do you have to say about that?
Well, alright, so they've had a number of owners, right? And if I'm to be very honest, it needed to be developed, which is why I said I don't have a problem with the development. But you have to include the citizens, and upon developing it, you have to do something where they're able to enjoy it too. They live there. They've been going to the beach forever. Why now they can't go? Because they quote unquote potato? Not my type of development.
What's your solution for something?
If,
What's your compromise?
First of all, I don't have much of a compromise because we feel like every beach in Jamaica for free. We just feel like people should be able to go to the beach. But okay, that not gonna happen. I think that as long as
you will never live to see that.
I don't think never ever live to see that. I'm not gonna live to see.
Big up Border-Cat. I was
I
introduced to Border-Cat by my child, who is an actor. But that little 5-second clip of him saying that not gonna happen. We'll never live to see that happen. We're not gonna live to see.
Me not think so.
To see us come back free.
Me not think it's ever free again. I don't think so.
So what is your response to that?
I think that communities like mine need to advocate more because when they tried to do it to Winifred Beach in Portland, the citizens won. Maybe the persons who came to develop Portesigo Beach are a little bit more powerful. I'm not sure. But whatever formula the citizens in Portland use, I feel like we need to study it and beaches need to be free for persons who live in the community. But since that not gonna happen, I feel like a lower fee, I'm gonna be $200 off, maybe at least just $500. Where if a family wants to enjoy the beach, they're supposed to be able to, whether you show one ID to say you live in the community, whatever, we can talk about it. But it can't just be that there's this monument of a fun place in my community that I cannot access.
Interesting. Alright. What other aspects of community life you embark on?
Well, I love mentoring young women, and it may sound cliched, and I don't need it to be showy, but I realize that we grow our women in this country and others to think that there are only certain things that they're able to do. And by that, I mean not that she can't be an engineer or a construction worker. We're far past that. I mean,
Are we?
yeah, man, when females, my engineer and construction worker and don't do all the jobs.
Yeah, but it's frowned upon. But anyway, go on. Continue.
But I believe that changing the mindset in terms of you can be a business mogul. It does not matter where you come from, as long as you want to do something you can handle. And the one that is most important to me is you don't have to be one thing. I feel like growing up, they tell you that you have to have a career in this or in that or be this or be that. I don't have to be one thing.
No, because we've gone through 3 things already.
Life is something that you must take in your hands and mold it and do everything that you want to do with it. Will you be successful at all of it? No. But you must have the mindset that I'm going to try, and if it don't happen and it fail, alright, I'm going to try again. No matter, I always say a 7 times I'm going to rise and fall. So I want to instill that in young women. If one thing fails, you can do something else. You can do so many other things in life.
What age group you target?
High school.
High school.
High school.
You go back to your high school or you?
I have been back to my high school, but a friend of mine, she is a dean of discipline at Jonathan Grant High School, and so I have a very close-knit friendship girls group, and we actually mentor girls at that school. So I find that a lot of times they target students who are not doing well in school and are acting out. We have chosen to mentor the ones who are doing well in school but are from backgrounds that if you really know what they're going to go home, you don't want to know what they're going to do well. So they need that support to continue to do well.
And how long you've been doing that for?
5 years.
5 years, right? So do you track the young ladies that
Yeah, man, we track them. So we had the first 5 years, so they have graduated now,
right.
and we assisted them with choosing the subjects. We assisted them with getting summer jobs. Some of them now in college, some had to work because of their family's financial situation, but we're still in touch and we started learning with them.
Alright, so you talked about doing different things. Where do you find the time? How old is this?
My son is 1 year old. He was one named
So new mother, teacher, designer. I'm going to reach the voiceover party. Right? And the party goer. Right? How do you balance that side? Because, when you see, and she's pretty young, by the way, when you see youngsters like this who are excelling, how do you balance? Explain the balance and how do you manage that time?
I don't know if I call it a balance because something gets left behind all the time. I like to call it a nice little dance where I'm happily exhausted. So I find the time, I prioritize every day. So when it comes to broad sale, with a strategy in place of the things that we're going to produce, I have a co-designer and we let it flow that way. The orders come in, I have somebody who manages social media page, and as much as possible, I stay in the marketing and spokesperson for the brand and designer role instead of trying to manage the everyday production role. When it came to when I got pregnant, I decided that as much as I'm going to be the type of mother who does not stop working because working makes me happy, but I'm not going to try to neglect my son either. Does that mean that I don't feel bad when he cries because I have to go to work or I have some sort of engagement?
You have to come to the show.
Or I have to come to the show. I do feel a little bit of guilt, but sometimes I really know where I go. So I remember I was speaking, he was 2 months old, and I had promised my friend Garth Williams, who works with the Cricket Association, that
I hope you're on.
that I would do a motivational speech for the under 19 team. Right. And 2 months it just passed fast, and I said, oh my God, I can't go now, I have no nanny. What am I going to do? And we call my best friend and say, can you come with me? Just hold the baby while we talk. God said we must only talk for 10 minutes. And we carry the baby with me. And she hold him while we talk. And one great thing that came out of that is that the mother of one of the boys that was there is now my nanny.
Oh, excellent.
When I went to my nail tech and I was like, Mom, you have to go back home, Mom, we need a nanny. And she's like, well, you know what nanny? She's like, you remember Stacy that said you need when you talk to her son? And I'm like, yeah, she came over and said hi to the baby just go here. She's not my nanny.
Okay.
So life works out, but really being Carole, so when you put the vibrations out that you want to do all of these things, the universe supports you.
What motivates you? You talk about vibrations, and that's a word that becomes, it's common now because people are going through so much and people want, I post some things on my own page,
And you send the motivation things every morning. Thank you.
Right. What drives you?
I would love to say that it is just doing good to my mama Carole. And again, it sounds cliche, but I have seen her go through so much to ensure that I have all the opportunities in life. One of the things that she always said is that make sure say go out to university so you don't have to catch up on nobody eyelids so when them blink and drop off. Them little things that mean something to me, and to be able to, not a lot of people from my community get the opportunity to go to university, and I feel like in going to university and being able to have a career, that's the onus is on me to keep on empowering other people, you know. And so every day when we get up, yes, of course, we think about my son because I want to leave a legacy for him, and I want to be able to feel successful in my own self. But if it is that you're successful and you have nobody that benefited from your success, is it really success?
Okay. Alright, let's switch up the conversation. We're going to do some fun stuff.
Alright.
TV shows. What TV shows do you like?
I like HGTV. I also like Chopped.
Okay. No. I am just the host. You can like anything you want.
Yeah.
You don't watch episodic television?
I do. I watch Power. I watch
Power?
Yeah, I watch Power. I watch Greenleaf.
Oh dear.
Yeah, man. I like drama.
The new season is back?
Yes, I love the drama.
Oh dear.
And I used to love Scandal. I still love Scandal. Reason being is
Miss PR, yes.
the PR, the crisis management. I'm 19, that's how you already used to love Scandal. I started with How to Get Away with Murder, but I really reached far. But yeah, I like those shows.
Alright. What's the most exciting party you've been to?
No man, we love Sun Nation breakfast party. I feel like I worked in Trinidad for a year and they had breakfast parties there. And when we come back to Jamaica, I tell the friend and say, breakfast party, shot you wake up in the morning early when the sun arises, you make up a glow, you feel good, you kind of your system while you dance while the sun come up. And then you come in and just go, we're not having a breakfast party.
I remember you invited me to one.
Yeah,
the same one.
And then breakfast party start, take off in Jamaica. I'm a morning person.
So am I, but
I'm happy in the morning.
yes.
I love pretty picture with enough bright lights. Can we make up of it and free? So breakfast, but I love breakfast food. So it's like the perfect thing for me.
Oh,
I love that pretty.
oh dear.
I love stage show.
Aha.
Yeah, man, I like stage show, I like clash. When I got stage show, I want to right where the box there because I want to stomp out my heart. When I go home, I want to hear good. Yeah, man, I love stage show.
You're a one, I know.
Yeah, I know.
You have to go in some wallow. Or you have to go put on the tongue. So it vibrates so you can't hear it.
Yeah.
So you're still a party girl?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You know, I mean, I'm sure that I will choose different parties as I get more mature. But, you know, right now, I'm still a wine girl, though. It's necessary. Keeps the blood flowing.
We're going to get you at the end of the show. What else do you enjoy as a Caribbean person? Because I got that. You know, you work in Trinidad, you teach students from the islands. If you had an option to live anywhere else, where would you
In the
live?
Caribbean?
Yeah.
The option to live anywhere else. I spent a short period of time in Barbados. And even though I would have never said it to any of them, because sometimes the Asian they love go on too much. Because I love the beaches so much. They have beautiful beaches.
Yeah, lots of them are free.
And they are free. And so I think that's how we give Barbados a try for a while. As a matter of fact, before I came here, I saw a thing that Mia Motley is saying that she's inviting persons to work remotely in Barbados for a year.
For a year.
At a time. And I feel like that's something that I would take up.
Oh, interesting. Alright, so with the TV, the party, how about travel? Before, alright, this is pre-COVID. Where else outside of the Caribbean have you gone to that you go?
I've been to, well, Cuba is in the Caribbean.
Yeah,
I've
but
been to Cuba, I've been to Colombia, I have been to...
Yes, Colombia and doors. Tell me your passion for doors, I just remember.
So I love doors because I find that you can learn so much about a person by the type of door where they have at their yard or the type of door that they have on their establishment. Is it big? Does it have big knobs? That means that they're an outlandish person. Is it a really rickety, rustic one? And when you go inside, it's something different. And just
Tell me more about that. That sounds like I could sit you good form.
No, I just love doors and the fact that sometimes in the outside of a door, and we see it here in Jamaica too. You ever go in some of the inner cities and you see one door where you don't really look tree well, but then when you go into the house, it's completely different AC, all type of gadget. And you're like, okay, but the door looks like this. And then there are other ones where the doors are so big. I went to this politician's house and the door big and the column them big, and he never struck me as that type of man until we go in the house. You know what I'm saying? So I find that doors are so important and intriguing to who a person really is, you know? And then also end things and come things, open new opportunities. So like door.
Oh, so your first book going to be called Door, right? Opening the door to Daniel's life, yes? Alright, so voiceover. Voiceover. How did you get into that? I know you went to camera, and we just have about 16 minutes or so.
What?
Left to go into the show? Yes. Oh, another minute, almost, yeah.
Alright.
So Carole Beckford, brand communicator, voiceover, teacher, mother, come from St. Anne, discovered it today.
Yes.
And she won Puerto Rico to the $500 to go in.
Yeah.
Here, Kenny, $500. $500 for locals. Says it, local is it local discovery day or local center?
Local discovery day. One community at a time, I'm sorry.
Okay. By the way, we're on set. You might see the light looking a little differently on the show tonight. I have engaged a whole new set of people. You know, Ryan, my executive producer, is off location. And I turned off the AC probably. They turned off the AC.
Guys, careful, the makeup will shift.
Yeah, the makeup. And at my age, you know, it turns hot after a certain time.
Well, I'm going to interview you about all of that.
Voiceover.
Yeah. So, I have always heard that I have a nice voice. Went to Carmen, wanted to do radio. In first year, when you choose what you want, you do everything in first year, and then in second year, you're supposed to choose the socialization. I chose radio, and when we look at the radio list, we never did it. Somebody said, so what we did. I was at the top of the PR list. Apparently, even though you choose something, if you did well in other areas, they would shift you. I was disappointed at the time, but then I fell in love with PR, and I figured, well, I was really interested in the technical part of radio. So as long as you get some sort of training, you could do radio if you have a degree in PR. And so I was working at Nationwide actually in 2007. I had my own show on a Friday night. They targeted young people who couldn't necessarily go out, so you had a vibe on the radio, like a party situation. And from that, I actually met Sharango, who for a 6-week process, other than training that I did at Karma, she had a company where she was training persons to be voiceover actors, and I was one of those persons. And then I did a couple of ads, but nothing really happened after a while, and so I was working now in 2014 at the lab with Humanity.
Yes.
And
they have listed there on the junior stock exchange. Yeah.
Yes, I was working there, and that's an advertising company. And a friend of mine that went to be with me was also working there, and said, "You need to call me Kulu." I said, "Kulu for his name, so I'm going to try to one of the ad there."
Oh, by the way, big up to Mr. Smith. How can I forget? Oh my God, Mr. Smith, that one. Yes.
And it didn't cost me, so big up Mr. Smith. And they tried me on a digital ad, and from that it just took off. So I have done a lot for digital, a lot for NCB, for Virgil, for CB, a couple of brands.
Do you do impersonations?
I do. I'm not doing any now though.
No, you can't do a situation around the school. It's the same, right, Chancey. It's the same kind of behavior. Yes. Who do you do impersonations? I know it's not something that comes naturally. I mean, you have to be on stage.
You have to get in the mood to do an impersonation. But there is a particular digital ad that's going around right now that sounds very interesting.
Oh.
My little gets up very well. Voice can get rough. It can get squeaky. It can be a perfect pinky.
Oh, you mean the one that you remember the first time? Another one? I see a lot of complaints about it. Oh.
I'm just a voiceover actor. Oh, you can create scripts or anything.
Oh my God. Where would you ultimately like your voice to take you?
I like to be in an animated film.
I see Carrie Washington tweeted, I said, was it this week?
I use that.
That she said if there are scripts out there for black animation voices, she's ready.
Yeah.
And then a couple of people that start, yeah.
I would really like that.
Yeah, but then we have enough black people out there who has a character that we can do animation of their voices.
Well, I think so, but I would also like it to be very Jamaican. So I've always been saying that I feel like animated film about the Maroons would do so well. Like when you have one man, all of them.
Kevin Jackson. Not Kevin Jackson, the entertainment writer. Kevin Jackson, the filmmaker.
Okay.
Has a script that he entered in the film festival almost 5 years ago to date.
Really?
Yeah, Jamaica Film Festival was, yeah.
5 years already?
5 years. Yes. Kevin has something on the Maroons. So we can.
Yeah, I feel like we have so many intriguing pockets of fun yet informative parts of our culture that we could animate that I really want to get back to that way.
You used to do Miss Lou at school?
Yeah, man. Me actually think my mother was Miss Lou.
You remember any Miss Lou?
At first, my favorite one, Love Letter.
Lollipop piece in it?
Me darling love, me little dove, me dumpling, me gizzard, my sweetie Sue. I goes for you like how flies goes for sugar. As me puts me pen to paper and me pen nip start to fly, me remember the first day you catch me eye. You was just coming out of a trunk car. A bus was to your right, a car swings past the left side, and you turn up thick with fright. Your jaw drop, your mouth open, just like when Jackass said that, my heart go boo, and I know make a bang. No scam little letter love, no laugh after me, huh? My landing not too good, but when me can't spell, me withdraw. The thing in the corner with the freckles is me heart, and the plate of young starfish means we will never part. See me try the two faces and look on one another? Well, one is you and one is me. Take anyone you read. This is not a cockroach foot. It's a finger with a ring. And it now want to marry you. Take it before your ring finger and the web hand. Careful to get the right side and give to this man. The man is me. Now, sweet rice, keep spelling until I see you next. Accept me, young heart, while I close with love and bands of eggs.
What?
That's my favorite love letter. That's my favorite to read poem.
Oh, me like the little talk.
You like the little song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love to see a poem.
We're glad to see you.
100th year of
Yes.
Miss Lou.
Yeah.
And we'll do that until September 7th next year. Quite iconic. Yeah, we're wrapping up. Tell me another 10 years from now, where you see yourself.
Woo. Another 10 years.
Alright, let's start with 5. I mean, I'm giving you.
No man, what do you think? In 10 years, I want Brazil Designs to be a global brand that empowers women. So similar to how you have Oprah's brand, who is a brand that empowers black culture and women. I want that for Brazil Design. So it's not going to be only through clothing, but through events, through charities, through mentoring. It's
The qualified, bro.
of course.
You know about it, bro. Okay.
Alright.
And we're
Own
going.
it. Own it. Hashtag rotating.
Yeah.
So I want that for my brand. I also want to ensure that my passion with marketing and brand communication the empowering of women so that it makes it even bigger. So our own magazine, our own TV show, our own network, it's going to be that for you in the next years.
Fabulous. Yeah, you use empowering. You have used empowering a few times throughout our conversation. Tell me what you think, or how have you, what's empowering to you? Is really the question.
It's really motivating someone to get to, I wouldn't say a success point, but to the other rung on the ladder, or to, for lack of a better phrase, level up. So it doesn't always
There she goes with another. Yeah.
So,
I say level up.
we're going to do it after, girl.
After no more, one and see on the show.
Yeah,
Straightforward to the.
Yeah, we have a play it for me.
Oh yeah, level up.
Right, why are you looking at me? You want level up? Okay.
What? Level up is a real
It's
song.
a song by Ciara.
Oh,
Andre, you're not doing work.
I thought level up was a term.
It is also a term, but it is also a song. That has a whole dance.
Oh, but you probably can find it.
Yeah, you can find it. But really, it don't have to always be a person who is less fortunate.
I was just age bombed a while ago, guys.
It doesn't always have to be mentoring somebody who is less fortunate, or no. It's even your sister or your friend is assisting in any way that you can to help somebody to get to the next level.
Your sister must be, I had thought was sister, she must be devil.
Yeah.
I love after me.
I think she got that shit.
What's that song?
Yeah. That's her.
It doesn't have anything we can play.
Yeah, man, you can play.
Okay. Oh dear.
You can?
Yes, we think so.
I have a whole one. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, so this is your whole choreography?
My mic drop off, guys. My mic levels down. Okay. Somebody don't go back.
Okay, these things only happen on this program. Oh my God.
So you can't go with dancing tights.
Oh dear. No, then we're going to be in the garden. By the way, we're on location at Jamaica Pegasus.
Yes.
Everything happens. There's everything to somebody at Jamaica Pegasus. It is Kingston Preferred Hotel. It is a home location of straightforward. You're always here. Even when I'm home, I'm at the Pegasus.
It's her home.
Even when I'm home, I'm at the Pegasus.
And I'm just looking at the nice catered food.
Oh yeah, tell everybody some have food. They
No,
don't
no,
know
no,
that.
no, look for the food. We're going to have fun.
So when people come on the show, they don't expect food.
That's on you. I'm just telling you what I've seen.
Alright, so we just had a few minutes to go. Her day job, she's actually a senior government official in the Ministry of Zalandi, but
Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport.
Yeah. 30 seconds.
Okay, so I'm the Director of Entertainment. That's in the Entertainment Policy Division of the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport. I have a communications focus, so we try as best as possible to create programs and initiatives that would ensure that the creative sector, specifically entertainment, remains profitable. Now there's a lot of talk on the reopening of the entertainment sector. We had a couple of consultations with some industry professionals, and we got some recommendations which you have heard the Prime Minister talk about that he has seen that they're going to be discussing. So I was very integral in putting those protocols together and ensuring that as many as possible of our stakeholders know about it so they have an input.
Okay. Alright, so Daniel, one last word before you go. You want to talk to whoever you want the message. Just give a message to anybody who you think who will benefit most.
I think that in this time, it's a very interesting time to be living, going through an entire pandemic, a year when everybody thought was going to be their year, and all of a sudden all of these tweets and memes about, 2020 needs to stop, 2020 needs to go away, we need to go to 2021. But I always think that there is an opportunity within challenges, and I think that the persons who seize the opportunity this year through the types of things that we're going through, where a lot of people are not earning, you're not sure about your business, about your jobs, the persons who focus on the opportunity during this time, whether it is learning a new skill, getting a new, forming a new business, whatever it is, you are the person that is going to be successful. So don't think about, 2020 needs to be finished and we need to get to 2021. What do you do now to ensure that when you do get to 2021, you'll be in a better place?
Alright, so this has been straightforward for another edition.
9 was fun!
9 was fine. We wanted to start the technical team, Ryan Bailey, our technical executive producer. The song you hear, it was done by himself on Ice Axe. It's called Sunny Day. We had an expanded team today. Certain Morris, Ryan Esson, Jelani Walker, Cedar Williams, who inspires my dressing.
I like it
Yes.
Had anything to do with Pride Week? Okay. What? I'm just saying it's colorful.
Yes, we always have pride. Good for pride. We're here for
Good job.
dynamic people.
Good job.
Belinda Brady, Andre helps. I have my own makeup artist. She has a day job, so because no one she uses it another color name.
Big up makeup artist. MUA.
Yeah, and I had things because I have lines. But this has been straightforward for another week. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you all for tuning in. The program will be uploaded to IGTV and on Facebook this week. So thank you all for watching. This has been an exciting time. Until program number 10. Straightforward.